So you're struggling manifesting. Just quit. Give up. You're done. Get out of here. Look, I don't actually want you to give up, but you actually should give up. Now, what do I mean? Well, I believe a lot of us, when we want to manifest that person, or when we want to manifest a new appearance or wealth, that there's a lot of trying and trying and trying. There's a lot of effort that we are doing in order to get this, but we are forgetting a very important concept, like I always start most of my videos. We are God. Now, what does that mean? Well, first of all, that means that we are powerful, that we can move mountains. But scientifically, the circumstances where you see your bank account is not the way you want it to be, or the circumstances where you see that you don't have that certain SP that you're trying to manifest, you can only perceive that with your eyes. Your eyes are connected to your body. The thoughts of, I need this to happen in the brain. But who you really are is the observer of that brain, is the observer of the body that contains those eyes where you see the lack of the wealth, the lack of the SP. You are simply the observer of your mind and your body. You aren't your mind and your body. Your life, your circumstances, the job that you have to go to 5 days a week, all that is a part of a video game. But who you really are is the one holding the controller. And all those circumstances that you see are simply a reflection of your past assumptions. The reason why you don't have your SP is because at one point, whether you said it consciously or subconsciously, remember, we can say things with just our actions. Actions speak louder than words. If you even felt that you are not on the same level of SP and that you could never get a girl of that caliber or a guy of that caliber, if you even felt that way, that will have to be reflected to you eventually. Even if you got into a marriage and things were going great for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, if you always had the assumption, and again, it didn't have to be consciously said in your mind. You did not actually have to say, I'm unworthy of love, but if you even felt that way, that marriage is bound to end, or at least have issues, because it is existing in a reality that was created by a God who doesn't even believe in himself. Now do you see just how powerful you are? Well, this is what I mean by give up, is give up from trying to mess with the 3D. It is the old story. Why would you mess with an order on Amazon that was already shipped, that was already paid for, when you can get you a new order? If they say no refunds, okay, great. If you had more money in the bank, you can just buy you something else. Well, it's the same thing with the 3D. There is no refunds. The current 3D circumstances where you don't have your SP, or when you're trying to get your ex back, you cannot change your SP that you see right now who doesn't want you. There's no refunds. You can't get any do-overs. You can't go back to the past. But but you can still create a new reality because there's infinite realities. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about that because I think if I start talking about the infinite realities and what I have to say about that, that could be another 20-minute video in and of itself. But, well, all I will say is a quick sum up of what infinite realities is. If you've ever wondered why your girlfriend changed after the honeymoon phase, a lot of people say, scientifically speaking, after 90 days you will see their true colors and then you'll really see their true personality. Look, a lot of things that science says, first of all, is bullshit, okay? But I'll tell you this, when you meet a person and you believe that they're a certain way and that they're this lovely human being and that they would never do you wrong, and then all of a sudden they backstab you, it's because it was your fault. You shifted into the reality where you no longer believe you deserve them. Or an old assumption where everything goes wrong in your relationships had to be reflected, even if it meant that it changed one of the best women out there on the market into a monster. I'll tell you this, I've had relationships before where all of a sudden it's like, who is this person? This is not the person that I thought they were. It's not because you did something wrong in the 3D, it's because you shifted to the reality. Out of all the infinite realities where they exist, you shifted to the one where they're a complete bitch. That's what we mean by infinite realities. But the same way that you can marry the princess and then all of a sudden she turns into fucking Medusa is the same way that gym crush who doesn't even know you exist, all of a sudden you shift to the reality where she cannot stop blowing up your phone and sending you nudes even when you are on the verge of blocking her ass. So what I want you to do is stop fucking with the 3D. You have to understand that if you fuck with the 3D, it will fuck with you. Now, don't be scared of it, okay? I know I'm making this extremely, intense by saying that, but, we're trying to be, cinematic here. We're trying to grab your attention here and keep the retention high. But ultimately, what you have to understand is that the same way that you've been manifesting your boss to yell at you when you were on your way to work and you kept telling yourself, oh my God, my boss hates me, they're gonna yell at me, and sure enough, they wrote you up, they yelled at you, they took you in the office. It's the same way that if you keep telling yourself, I don't give a shit what the 3D is showing me, it's just an old reflection, but this woman cannot stop thinking about me. Me and her are in the relationship of our dreams. She treats me like a king, and she is lucky to have me, not the other way around. She carries 5 different pairs of panties, so that way she can masturbate to me while she's at work. I literally use that affirmation on a girl who we never even would talk, who she didn't even know I existed. And within months, out of nowhere, she started blocking me and unblocking me on social media, even when we didn't even follow each other, making random excuses to start conversations with me. Even when we were in person, she would interrupt me when I was talking to somebody else, clearly trying to get my attention. And then it eventually ended where we ended up becoming make-out buddies at work. Guys, this stuff really works. So much so that it's shocking. Another one, speaking of social media, when I created my Instagram account, I had about 120 followers for a good 4 months. And as an experiment, when I just got into manifesting, I was doing a lot of experiments with visuals, with sats, and with affirmations. And, one of the things that I heard about was inspired action, which basically, when they talk about inspired action, is where, kind of like what this video is talking about, where the only action you should take are the ones that feel natural, not that feel forced. Well, I kept telling myself, when I had my Instagram account, that women keep adding me nonstop. Even though for 4 months straight, I would add people on Instagram to grow up my followers, and some of them would accept my requests, but they would not add me back, or I would just not get any requests, period. I remember I went through like almost a whole month and a half without getting any traction on my account whatsoever. And again, I didn't really give a shit. I mean, I'm already getting old for this shit, but I thought it was a good idea to really test out the waters, because it got to the point where I was starting to think, maybe I'm not meant for social media. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe, I got to post more often, or is it my profile picture? Well, I remember that one day I just had this feeling like maybe I should change my profile picture. So I changed it to a different picture. And within 24 hours, I got like 10 follower requests. And some of them were from people that I didn't even add at all, that I didn't even remember seeing on my Instagram account, period. And ever since then, I went from 120 followers to 400 within days. And it could have been because I changed the profile picture. Sure, I know a lot of you people are gonna say, "Oh, you're not supposed to you do the inspired action, blah blah blah." Well, let me tell you one thing. I changed it to a picture that I originally started my account with, okay, and it didn't do me any good. So I was using the same picture that I had basically from the beginning. Now, I ended up changing that to the one that I had before, but what I'm trying to say is the one that I changed to was a picture that I had since the beginning. And when I used to have it, it didn't have the success that it had now. So I don't think it was the fucking profile picture. I think it was the fact that I simply kept telling myself, no, women always add me on my Instagram account. I get follower requests so much on the daily. They keep blowing up my phone. And that's literally what was happening for the whole entire time that my Instagram following started blowing up. And to this day, it does not stop. So all it took was for me to detach from the 3D and to realize that the 3D is bullshit. You cannot gain anything from it. You cannot expect anything from it because it's the past assumption. When I looked at my Instagram account and I saw I wasn't gaining traction, I didn't think it was because I woke up today and I felt like shit, or because I went to the gym and the girls were not looking at me. No, I knew that it was because of past assumptions that I had previously, months before. But I knew that just like I got those assumptions reflected to me in my lack of Instagram followers or lack of attention from women, I knew that if I kept persisting in the fact that I was affirming shit like I'm the man, I'm the sexiest guy in the room, wherever I go, I'm the most attractive, that I was gonna get that reflected back to me. I didn't expect, though, that I was gonna get it reflected back right away. And sometimes that's the way it is. But just know that you don't have to do anything. And no, you don't have to change your profile pic, but literally it was just something that happened. I wasn't even trying to get more followers. I actually thought I really like this other original profile pic better. because either ways I had no reason to believe that it was going to work because it didn't work before. So I just simply changed it back to my original just because I was like, well, you know what? This second one is not working. I might as well just go back to the one I wanted to begin with. Because the second time I changed it, I got to be honest, I thought I was going to have success. But then I changed it back to the original one because I was like, I don't give a shit. I think this one represents me more. Because I was wearing a cap in the first one. The second one, I was capless. And I was like, you know what? I think I represent myself better with the cap. It was not the profile pic. It was the fact that I'm God, that I'm source, and that I believed in myself, that what I say goes. And all I did was kept telling myself that my shit was blowing up, and it was blowing up. And it's the same thing with you. Stop thinking, stop doing, start being. I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. And I know you're going to be okay.